So, here I am. I finally made the YouTube channel I should have made 6 years ago, 7 years ago. But I'm a believer that everything plays out the way it should, so here I am now. All I'm doing today for this first beat video is literally, I make my beats mainly in Ableton. So I'm gonna literally start by just making a beat in Ableton. I've got no rules, there's no sort of motive with what direction this beat's gonna go. This is an example really of how I would sit down and start a beat making process. If I was waking up today and making beats today, this is exactly what I would do. Like, there's no motive behind this one, there's no speciality in this one. This is just me making a beat. This is how I'm gonna kick my channel off. I like to start with melodies. Didn't used to like to start with melodies. Sometimes I still like to chuck a hi-hat pattern in there to build off, just to like have an initial bounce to work with. So we'll just see how it goes. I have a habit of starting on C sharp, just because I like how the 808s, yeah, 808s again. I like how 808s sound down between C up to maybe E. Once it starts getting above E, I feel like it gets a bit, and I like it to be like, so we'll see. It's not bad. Okay, that's what I was after. Now, you'll notice I haven't recorded anything, but it's fine in Ableton because you just hit that and it picks it up. It's always recording. Beautiful. And it also registers roughly what tempo I was at. And this is 100 BPM. So, like, this is not even necessarily the tempo that I love to work at. I do work at 100 BPM sometimes, especially on when I'm working on the sort of like UK style beats. I'm from the UK. And I'm not liking the click on that sound. Do you know, like the clicky sound at the top? So I just know from using Omnisphere a lot that that's just because it's on a full velocity thing. So if I bring it down, get rid of the click, so that's cool. So something else I like to do, so I know that works in sort of, I'm in D sharp there, but I think so. I'm not a music theory kind of guy. But if I boost it up by a bunch first, and then I freeze that and commit it to audio, it allows me to work with it in a different way. Because with MIDI, it'll transpose, and each note in the Omnisphere or the sampler, whatever, there's like a specific sample for that, so it doesn't sound distorted or kind of like mangled in any way. So what I like to do is purposefully take it away from the pitch that I like, which in that respect was D sharp, but I might even bring it down a bit. But then by bringing it to audio and pitching it up, so it's in the wrong key. Why is that not doing that? In the wrong key. By using the warp modes and just literally by bringing it down like this, it just gets a different texture that you wouldn't get by pitching it down in MIDI, if that makes sense. Yeah, if I unfreeze that and then bring that down to the same key, you'll notice so it's in the same key, but texture-wise, it's totally different. I feel like this sounds like MIDI, whereas this almost sounds like a sample because it's got something about it. And I'm also gonna chuck on some of this bad boy. If you've not seen it, it's worth looking at. Just gives it that sort of downgraded vinyl, tape, whatever. It's got options, you know, you can switch to tape. Maybe I'll go to tape. Tape hiss. This wobbles crazy. Yeah. No. That's my bass loop. Not bass. My bass loop, not bass. Bass. So then I want another layer. Again, I've not come into this with a particular idea. I'm just kind of going with whatever my brain feels like doing today. I'm a big fan of the trons and optical, which is, I just see it as like a mellotron solution. You know what I mean? It sounds cool straight away. I've used a lot of flutes recently. It feels too easy to go for the flutes because everyone always loves the flutes. Oh, lick my mic. There, that's sort of more the area I want to be at. Probably add something to the chorus, like a little lead line just to lift it a little bit, but we'll get there when we get there. I'm going to do a video later down the line of all different ways how to approach hi-hats, but again, I don't do the hi-hats the same way every time. Sometimes I'll layer hi-hats, sometimes I'll do it all within one pattern, sometimes I'll play it in, sometimes I'll jam it out. So I'm going to do a video where I go over all those different things. Something like that. So for this one, I quite like the vibe of that, so I'm going to do them all in one pattern. That'll probably be my loop for now. So I would be tempted now to just do something crazy and listen to it at 1:30. No, I don't need to hear any more of that. Kind of more like that. This is kind of somewhere between a US sounding beat and a UK sounding beat, I think. I'm going to layer a clap on the hard hits though. A lot of the time I like to play this stuff in. You'll see that on further videos. I just kind of want to get one out. So, sorry if this is a little bit, bit clicky. But it's how the hits are made, man. People are clicking. Yeah, something like that's perfect. Thank you, Wonder Girl. Yeah, good thing about Ableton is you can preview your sounds as you're listening, and you can like use the right arrow key to just sort of test them out. Like, I like this sound, but I don't like that. I think the only way for me to do it is like this. So because I'm cutting some of the end off there, I feel like I've got to push the sound a bit. A good thing in Ableton is using this glue compressor as a soft clipper. Doorbell. So yeah, the kick drum. I probably rescued enough bottom end now. A plugin I really like is the Slate Digital stuff, all the Slate Digital stuff really, but there's a particular thing, especially when you're lacking a bit of bottom end earth. Wait. I'll keep a bit of that on. So I want to whack that up, saturate it, bring it back. That's quite nice. And earth. Use earth to give it a little. Just keep that bottom end booming. I don't know what pattern to go for. Let's see how that sounds. Sound felt right. It had my neck going. I think there want to be some sort of little sprinkles of percussion now. I quite like that pattern as well. I've felt myself do that before, where it almost feels like you're leaving out the middle sort of offbeat hi-hat, because I think that's done quite a lot. I don't know. Maybe that's bullshit. Like, finger snaps are one of those things that you feel like needs to hit where the snare hits, but I don't know. I don't feel like it quite is the same when it comes to these kind of beats. And sometimes things just they need to be more sporadic. Like, a lot of the times you'll come across a sound you love and be like, oh, and then start going, but it don't need. Sometimes things are better when they're spaced out, so it might only happen once in every 8 bars, or every sort of 16 bars, maybe. see. A lot of people, you know, people are out there, they're smart, they do logical things. With the 808, obviously earlier in the session, earlier in the track, I sort of said I chose where I positioned my melody on the as far as the scale goes, so that my 808s would be low, sort of in the area that I like my 808s to be. But then sometimes when they come to play it, you realise, oh, actually a higher note works better as sort of like the first note that I play, even though it still works with the low note. Like, this was the note that I thought we'd be needing a lot of. And it works. I could just do that, but I know that there could be a better melody in there, in my opinion, and that is using the higher note, which is G sharp. And by alternating between G sharp and the D sharp, then we still get that low. If anything, sometimes it makes it better because you then get to drop, like, so it like drops down, and it's a little bit more emphasis on the low note, because if you're starting and it's like the D sharp all the way through, it's kind of like, I don't know, it can get a bit samey, even though those beats are sick as well, but I don't know, it's a happy accident. I like it when it happens anyway. So I'm just going to work out this sort of melody using this as my main note. Like, I want to record two different versions, kind of, like one a bit more sparse for the verses, not even exclusively the verses, just like an A-B version of the 808, so like a version that will be really have more gaps without bass, and then one that's more full for sort of, don't even need to be the chorus, sometimes it's just helps a rapper then will get to that point where it clearly picks up in sort of energy, and it'll make them flow different, and it's cool. It just brings different things out of people. I think that just leaves space for the artist to like fill the gaps between, and then now I'll do one that's a little bit more filled out. See what I mean? And then when they alternate between each other, you'll notice it just kind of picks up. Rappers will know what I'm saying there. Then really, like, that's kind of like the basis of the beat. At this point is when I would want to start sort of getting a feel for the structure, so I know when I actually need to start introducing new any new parts, if at all. It might just be little bits of automation, little details or whatever. So let's just see how this goes. Sometimes in the second half of the intro, because it's a slow tempo, I'm only doing an 8-bar intro, but sometimes I like to introduce the hi-hat. Drop it out. Like, I might take away the open hi-hat there, and the rimmer, big rimmer. Then maybe here I would probably keep the bass but drop out a few bits, take out the kick. And then I would automate there a bit of halftime. I'll just do it on the group as well, so it does it to all the melody. It'll give a big impact when it drops. Another thing I like to do before I drop into a chorus is, where are you? Effectrix has got, I mean, I think there's better options out there that I need to look into, but for now, Effectrix is cool for this vinyl stop. So what I would do is I would have it off again, and I'll just automate it on for the last little bit, so it only does that little moment. Like I sort of mentioned earlier, I'll probably just layer one little, I don't know what instrument I'm going to use. I might go somewhere a bit different, maybe Electro X. It's not different. It's not mind-bendingly different, but let me just kind of anything, something subtle. Yeah, something like that could work. Yeah, that's calm. Just something like that. As far as mixing goes, turn the hi-hats down a bit. I like the hi-hats to be pretty loud though, to be honest. I like the claps and the snares to be loud. I like the kick to be super loud. I like the 808 to be loud. I like drop the melody back a bit. Turn everything down a bit. And that kind of reveals that the kick's way too loud, actually. Well, all the melodies are way too quiet. And the bass. I mean, look. I don't really go crazy with reverb unless I feel like I need to. Like the hi-hats and stuff, they feel better dry to me right now. Just because of the type of beat. I'll maybe roll a bit off there. Just to make sure nothing's clashing. It wasn't sounding like it was, so it's kind of just me doing what I've been told I should do. Which is, it's a good base knowledge to have, sort of like rules of thumb, I guess. But break the rules. And then after that, just some things I like to do. I'll do probably some sort of some videos looking at how we can do similar stuff without relying on certain plugins. But I just think people put a lot of time into these plugins to get them right. And that's it without. It just warms it up and beefs it up a bit. I also like to put a mix bus channel strip on. So that's like modelling this Brit N is a Neve desk modelling thing. This is the Earth option, which we already did earlier. I like to use this bomber. Just do like when it's extreme, it's too much. That seems to be what it's doing. But if you just bring up a bit, let's get some punch, bring the drive up. I just like stuff to hit hard. Lastly, like I'll do some EQ. That's more on full songs or whatever. Bit of compression, but I'm not gonna right now. I'm gonna soft clip. Almost treat it like a limiter. I might say that's too much, but I don't really care what some people say. And then after that, I change limiters. I sometimes just get bored of the look of stuff and switch it about. This one that I'm using right now, I'm into clipping again at the minute, so I choose this practically clipping. And then up on this part of the screen, I kind of don't let it go past -3 if I can help it. And because of the previous processing, I've done like the clipping before, it's already squashed it, so you don't really need to limit more than that. And plus, once you start hearing a limiter, everything sounds terrible anyway. There'll be more details that I'd like to do. I'd like to do some more variations and stuff, but the more than the bones of the idea is there. And like, this could go straight out onto the Beat Store or whatever now. So thanks for coming and watching my first video. I've tried to even do this before and then kind of thought, I'm not putting it up. But this one I'm going to put up regardless of even if the levels aren't perfect. Really, like, I just needed to do it. I just need to get started and do it because we all spend too much time putting stuff off and being scared to do stuff. So I'm just glad that I'm finally got it up and running. So yeah, expect more soon. Thank you. See ya.